Buddy, welcome to Analyze Our Games Part 25. Today I'd like to show you a game I played at lichess.org, and my opponent was a guy called Steel Chino. He's a very good player, very strong. This game is not perfect, of course, but it's good. Yeah, it has some mistakes, of course, but I think it's good quality. Yeah. So I played white, and one of the interesting things here is that I played the queen's pawn. Yeah, it's kind of rare. I play like 98, 99% of my games are played with the uh, king's pawn. So this is kind of interesting. So I played d4. My opponent played e6, so it's called the Harwitz defense. It's not common, but it's a very flexible, yeah, choice because he can play the French or he can play the Dutch, yeah, and the game can transpose into something completely different. Here I played bishop f4 because I wanted to play the London system, yeah. So d5, e3, yeah, knight f6, c3. This is a very common move to keep the center closed. Bishop d6. My opponent wanted to trade the bishops. Then I played g bishop g3. So it's kind of the standard move here. h6. Yeah, I think maybe it's better to play c5. Yeah, then knight d2. Knight c6 and knight gf3, so you have a equal position. But my opponent played g6, h6. Yeah, then I played knight d2, and here queen e7. My opponent wanted to play e5. Yeah, I could have played here f4, so it's a very standard move here. It's a good option here, but I developed my knight to f3. Then my opponent developed his pieces too, yeah. And here I planted my knight on e5. Yeah, this is a good square for the knight, but now it's not very solid. Yeah, we still have to put more pieces defending it. Then here my opponent played c5. As you can see, he knows the good moves. Bishop d3, b6. Yeah, here it's also possible castling and castling, and we have a equal position, or white is a little bit better, but slightly better, nothing much. So after b6, it's a logical move because my opponent wants to fianchetto his bishop to b7, yeah, and defend this long diagonal. It's a very good idea. Yeah, then I castled, yeah, but again f4 is better. Yeah, I castled. My opponent played bishop b7, h3. Yeah, I wanted to avoid the exchange of the bishop for the knight here because knight h5, then my opponent could exchange. But here again, it's better to play f4 and to cement this knight on e5. Yes, h3. My opponent castled. Now I played f4. It's about time. And here my opponent made a slightly, mm, how can I say, dubious move, because in this position I think it's better to play, for example, uh, e4, yeah, knight e4, for example, or even take on d5, on d4. Then I would take with the pawn, the king's pawn. Yeah, there are some good moves here, but I don't know why my opponent played knight h7. Maybe with the idea of playing f6, yeah, but he can't play this now because then I can take on. If my opponent play, for example, the next move. f6, then I can play knight g6 and I get the exchange. So this is not good. Yeah. But here I played knight df3. Yeah, cementing, protecting once more the knight on e5. Here my opponent made the first mistake. Yeah, so this is not a good move. Yeah, because I could have gotten a better position here. Yeah, so it's better to play something like knight df6, for example. Yeah, this move here is better. Yeah, much better. This knight would be a little bit out of the game, but yeah, then my opponent could have played knight e4, and maybe next move play knight f6, and so the game is a little bit better for white here, but nothing much. Yeah, or maybe equal position. But here it's a mistake. Yeah, definitely a mistake. But the problem is I couldn't get advantage from my opponent's mistake, and this is something that all chess players have to improve on. Yeah, so here instead of playing rook c1, that was what I played. This move, bishop h4, would be very good for white. Yeah, why? Because now the the queen's attacked, of course. Yeah, and after playing queen e8, now I have a very good move here, and this is bishop b5. Yeah, so as you can see, this knight is pinned. Yeah, so there are two uh, pieces attacking it, and for example, if black wants to protect it again, then I can take on f5 on f6. Yeah, and white is much better here. Yeah, taking with the knight, the queen is exposed, and taking here I can take the knight, and white is winning here, and the game is over. Yeah, but as I told you before, I played rook c1, and it's a mistake. Okay, then my opponent took on e5. I took with the pawn. It's usually better because then um, yeah, usually better to take with the f pawn, because then we have the open file here, semi-open file here. Yeah, so I think it's better. It's also possible to take with the d pawn, no problem. Yeah, then my opponent played here knight g5, so this is kind of a mistake. Yeah, better is to play f5. Yeah, then I always have this idea of playing here. Yeah, bishop h4, but then I have my opponent could have played g5, and then bishop e1. Yeah, the position is a little bit better for white, but yeah, nothing to write home about. Okay, but after knight g5, I took. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's not a serious mistake, but yeah, we after some years of practice, and the more you get knowledge and you are a more experienced player, small mistakes make the difference. Yeah, so these are the ones that we have to pay attention and try to get better and better. Okay, my opponent here played took with the queen, of course. Yeah, as you can see, there's no difference in material. Yeah, the material is equal, but white has a very promising and better position. Yeah, as you can see, my pieces are all pointed to the black's king, so this is a good thing. And here I played queen e1, yeah, with the idea of playing um, bishop h4 or something, yeah. Okay. Um, okay, here it's better to play f5, or actually it's not better, but my opponent played this f5, yeah. Okay, my bishop is defended, this pawn is defended, that's okay. And then here I took en passant because I wanted to keep the position open, yeah. I didn't want to close, to get a close position because of this open file here. So I have some good prospects, yeah. So I took en passant, my opponent took with the, um, the rook, yeah. And here I like this move. I played bishop f4. Why bishop f4? To avoid exchanges, yeah. I don't want to exchange now. It's too early to exchange pieces, so that's why I played bishop f4. My opponent, okay, defended. His queen was attacked, so he played queen h5. Here I played king h2. Probably better is to play queen g3, yeah. Then the rooks are connected, and yeah, I have some more control of the position. Okay, but after king a2, my opponent doubled his rooks. Very good, yeah, that's a good move. And now I played queen g3, c4. Yeah, it's usually uh, not not good, this move, because it closes the center, but here it attacks my bishop. And then I had to play uh, bishop c2, g5. See, my opponent is also moving his pawns and attacking my pieces, yeah. Here as my opponent's king is pinned, I have no hurry, yeah, to remove my bishop or my queen. And it's okay. My bishop here can't be taken by the pawn because of the pin. So yeah, according to the computer, it's much better to play king g1, yeah, because now my rooks are protected. Yeah, this rook is protected. As you can see, my opponent has doubled his rooks here, so uh, it's dangerous. And I played bishop d1, attacking my uh, opponent's queen. But now the position is equal because my opponent played this, and unpinning, my opponent unpinned the position, yeah, his king. Now he can take on f4. Seeing this, I had to move I had to attack my opponent's queen again. I played bishop c2, and here my opponent made a mistake. Instead of going queen g7, yeah, then I would have to remove. I would have to do something, yeah, maybe play bishop a4, attacking the knight or something, because yeah, my rooks here are attacked, yeah, two rooks attacking and just one defending. Then I don't know, maybe the position here is equal. I don't know. Some changes would happen. I don't know if I would get a better position, or if I played well, the game would be drawn. But then my opponent played here queen f7. It's a mistake because it pins again, yeah, the king. And here I played h4. See, I was in an attacking mood Yeah, because my opponent can't take my bishop, so I'm going to attack his pawn uh, 3 times. And here would have been much better to defend my rook, to put my rook on f3, because now it's defended by the pawn and by the queen. Yeah. So h4, yeah, it's not the best move, but it's not a serious mistake. So now the position is equal. Yeah. The only problem here, my position, is this pinned rook. Yeah. I have to remove this rook or try to defend it. So that's why f3, rook f3 would be perfect. Then my opponent played here, queen h5. Yeah. Now the advantage comes to me again. Yeah. And here I attacked his queen again, and my opponent could have played queen g6 again. I don't know what would happen. Maybe I would find this move attacking his knight, and some changes would occur, but I don't know. But here my opponent was a little bit hasty and took my pawn. And then I took with the queen, took, yeah, now the position is completely different and all is changed. Here we started a new game, but white has uh, kind of advantage, yeah. Then I played here, bishop g4. It's not the best. The best would have been to unpin this rook by playing uh, rook g1. Yeah, maybe the next move could be um, g3, trying to open lines for the bishops. Yeah, and maybe try to get some advantage or even mate my opponent, but that's a little bit difficult. As you can see, my opponent's pieces are very bad. Yeah, so this bishop here, yeah, is the light squared bishop, and as you can see, all the pawns are on white squares. So this is a bad bishop, and his knight is not a very good one because it has no free moves now. So that's why white is a little bit better. So after bishop g4, my opponent tried to give life to this bishop. Yeah. H3. This is not the best. Maybe rook h1 is better to try to win this pawn. Yeah. Um, and keep the position closed, or you know, white's a little bit better here. But I played here, and this is a little risky. You know why? Because now I'm at the same. Yeah. Let me draw a line here. I'm aligned with my opponent's bishop, and this is dangerous. This is really dangerous. Yeah, sometimes, as you are going to see, the position opened, and my opponent could have won the game because of this. So king h7. Yeah, it's not good. Better is to play rook 8 f7. Then here, yeah, as you can see, some moves are good, were good 2 moves uh, before. Yeah, now it's not a very good move anymore. Yeah, now the position is equal. Yeah, rook g6. Yeah, trying to get some good moves here because this rook attacks my bishop. Yeah, can be, and he's also thinking about playing knight f6. And as you can see now, my bishop is not in a um, good place here, eh? Because some things are going to attack, and I have to defend it. So bishop h5. I don't know if it's the best. Probably the best is to take with the king. Yeah, and after knight f6, I can put my my bishop back, and my king is a little bit exposed here. Sometimes it's dangerous, yeah, but that's okay. So after bishop h5, my opponent defended, yeah. I, there are some crazy variations here, yeah, opening up the the diagonal for the bishop, as I told you before. So it's a little bit hard, but then it's, I don't know if black is gonna get some advantage, because I would get the the exchange, yeah. So here's the position, yeah. White, black would take the exchange again, but then I think it's an equal position, yeah. Maybe it's a draw. Okay, but after rook g7, I played this. Yeah, now I doubled my rooks. It was my turn to double the rooks. Yeah, bishop d6 is probably the best, because I would try to make, yeah, force my opponent to change the the, the rooks or do something. Okay, but after rook c f1, my opponent made a mistake here, yeah, trying to attack, double attack on g2, and I also made a mistake by playing rook 3 f2. It's much better to play bishop d6, but it's a very hard move to find. Yeah, it's a difficult move. Yeah, it's hard to find a move such as this, because you don't want to lose the pawn, yeah. But yeah, that's a computer's move. And then I passively defended my pawn on g2, and here my opponent played this. But maybe better is to play e5. Maybe no, it's much better. Let's see. Yeah, it's much better because it opens up the diagonal. Yeah, the bishop's diagonal, and it's gonna be very, very dangerous. So after this, knight f6, I put this bishop on e5. It's a very instructive game, a very instructive move, yeah, because it closes my opponent's diagonal, and consequently the bishop, yeah. I'm going to lose uh, uh, my bishop here on h5, but on the other hand, this bishop is gonna be locked, yeah. So that was what I thought at the moment, and I thought it was the best I could play. My opponent took here. I took the the rook. My opponent took, and I played here. I pinned my opponent's knight. Yeah, and here black's better, not much better, but I still have some chances. Yeah, I have some chances of getting a draw, or you know, trying to fight for the draw. But here my opponent made a mistake. He played king h8, yeah, and it's not good. Now I have a slight advantage. Better is to play here king g7. Then I can give a check here just to make my opponent move. Yeah, here king g5, and exchanging the trying to exchange the pieces to try to get a draw or something. I don't know. Black is better here because of the two pieces. But yeah, in situations like this, we have to try something. Yeah, but black is better here. But after king h8, now I took on a7. Maybe it's not the best, but yeah, uh, it's good. Yeah. Now knight f5. Now my opponent's attacking my pawn on e3. I played knight f3 defending it, but again, it's a very difficult ending here, very complex. Yeah, better is to play uh, rook c7. Yeah, trying to, in case of black takes on e3, double the rooks. Yeah, and try to get a draw, something like that. So after knight rook f3, my opponent played this. Yeah, e5. Is it good? It's not the best. Probably rook g7 is better. Then I would pin, and my opponent would defend here, and maybe I can get a draw, but I'm not sure about that. So after e5, yeah, I took on e5. Okay, then take a look at this bishop. Yeah, after many years of inactivity, now the guy comes to life. And then my opponent was, it's a tough guy. Yeah, I made mistakes, he made mistakes, but now, yeah, he has some good chances of getting my uh, getting his exchange back and maybe a draw. And then he played knight d4 check. Yeah, discover check. I took on h4. No, because it's very dangerous to take this, because we have check again and this again and check again, discovered, and here, then takes here on f3, and here and here. This position, black is much better. Yeah, I have a passed pawn, two passed pawns, but I have one piece less, so white is lost here. Then after knight d4, I I took. What happened? Uh, yes, my opponent took on g3, on f3, and then I took it back. Yeah, as you can see, the position is the same, but now I have two pawns, two passed pawns, and it's hard to believe, but my opponent made some mistakes in this position that is draw, and he lost. So my opponent attacked my pawns, I defend, f4, bishop f5. Yeah, it's I went after the pawns, he defended it. Maybe with the king is better? No, this is okay. So this rook is very good, very active, because it defends this pawn and this pawn. Yeah, I can't make progress, so the max I can get here is a draw. Yeah, but then I started making some annoying uh, attacks, threats. Yeah, and some checks here, many a lot of checks, trying to make my opponent move or make a mistakes. Kept I could have checked some more times just to make him move his king closer, and maybe this is good. Let's see. Try to exchange. Yeah, I would get back this pawn on h6. Maybe it's a draw. I don't know. Yeah, probably a draw. A4 is not a good move, but yeah, what else can I do? Well, black's is a little bit better here because of the bishop. Yeah. Rook a7, trying to exchange the rooks. Yeah, I didn't want to. I played rook a8 7, check. King g7, rook a6. Yeah, attacking the pawn, but my opponent defended it very easily. Uh, I came back there because um, nothing good to play, and here my opponent checked. See, my opponent spent 1 minute 22 seconds, so he didn't know what to do. Yeah. Um, neither neither do I. Yeah, it's a very difficult position, especially if you have little time left on your clock. So bishop g6 check. I moved my king, no problem. And here he checked again. This is not very good because now I can infiltrate on g5 and rook f7. Maybe h4. Sacrificing the pawn is better. Yeah, nothing much. Doesn't change much. Then rook f7, rook b8, attacking the pawn again. Yeah, and my opponent checked here. It's not good. It's a mistake because now his pawn is attacked and my king is protected here. It can go back. Yeah, it can go back to g5 in case of the move rooks. The rook moves. King h7, h4. Yeah, rook f7. Now I take on b6. Thank you very much. Uh, he attacked my pawn. Now I have to defend it, but instead of defending, I played my king to g5, as I told you. Uh, Now it can go back to g5. And my opponent played here, mm, attacking my pawn twice. I played g5. Is it the best option here? Yes, it's the best option because this pawn is dead anyway. So let's try to attack the king. So I played f5. My opponent took on a4. Now white is much better because of the passed and advanced pawns. Now they are going to march and things are gonna be hard for black. e6. Yeah, this is a nice move. Yeah, this is the best because I'm about to check him again with f6 and the king is gonna be under pressure. h5, uh, h4. Yeah, trying to be a little bit desperate because of the he wanted to play king f6, but then I can check first. Yeah, no problem. And then my opponent goes back, and then I took here. I took on h4 because I didn't want to have problems. Yeah, having to worry about this passed pawn, and I took it. I thought, these pawns are well protected, and they are passed, and they are advanced, and this pawn is not going to give me any trouble. So I took on h4. Then my opponent went back to the first rank. This is good because my rook can go to b8 and do some kind of uh, threat here, and yeah, threat to play uh, f5, f7, and it's a problem. Then my king goes to decide the thing. Here it's very difficult to play because you know you don't have many options. My king is coming to take on d5 and to take on c4, so my opponent's in a mess. Yeah, even the computer doesn't know what to do here because the position is lost. My opponent tried to bluff here. Yeah, um, But then I moved my king out of the range of the rook. Yeah, I was not in a hurry. And then he went back to the first rank. Rook b7. See, I'm trying to close in on the king, and I'm threatening all kinds of things like f7 or uh, e6. Then here, my opponent is moving, is shuffling around, and then I played rook h7, threatening mate. Yeah, this is nice. Sometimes we have to do make such moves because your opponent can make a mistake and then you checkmate him or her. So h8, very good. Yeah, king h8. No, king g8. Sorry about that. Then I checked him, but is there anything better? Maybe, yeah, maybe I can check. Is it possible to check here? And then my opponent would take and I would take. But what if my opponent takes here? Then I queen here. No problem, yeah? That's great. And according to Stockfish, it's mating 11 moves. So I checked here. I didn't know what to play. And my opponent went there to h8. Then here I wanted to play a brilliant move, a sacrifice or something like that. And you know, I'm threatening to take on g on on e8, yeah, and play f7. So this is it's beautiful. Then my opponent played here. I missed this beautiful move here to sacrifice my rook. Then it would be check here, double, then f. I promote. I play here, and it would be very similar to the game before, to the last position. Yes, see, beautiful move. But I checked here before. There are so many options that sometimes it's difficult to find the best one. I don't know if we're running out of time, but yeah, sometimes just because of nervousness or something that we still have to think about and to improve, we make hasty movements and we shouldn't. Yeah, if you have time, if you have patience and sang-froid, look at the clock, check your time, and think more. Find the best move in the position. And then my opponent took here, of course. I took with the pawn check and king f8. I checked here. Yeah, see, I can even sacrifice this because the position, the final position is lost to black. And then my opponent took, of course. I took and promoted at the same time. My opponent took, and then I played king e5. And according to Stockfish, it's mating 17 moves. Yeah, but as we are not so efficient at seeing so far ahead, we just know that it's a winning position and black is completely lost here. I can promote 3 queens and checkmate my opponent. So, as I told you in the beginning of the video, this is not a perfect game. There are mistakes from white and mistakes from black, but that's chess, that's human chess. It's not perfect. It can't be. Yeah. This is something we have to keep doing. Yeah, analyzing our games, improving, and thinking about the possibilities, the hidden possibilities, and how to improve our games in the next opportunities. So thank you very much. I hope you like this game and learn from it. Thank you very much. Bye.